loose and that super dark because no one uses lighting properly even back then, and then like the whole group of soldiers get massacred because they wanted to struggle snuggle, and struggle snuggle is bad. And
Yeah, it was kind of edgy.
though isn't the very end? Aren't they literally living in a farmhouse making giant letters out of sheets they've tied together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the alternate ending was where they did some pump his blood out and filter it bullshit, but they decided, this wouldn't actually work because of the way the virus works.
Anyway, so we are live now, gentlemen, and this is episode 4 of Probably Incorrect. We got Alvor, Kaz, Orphan Sign in here, and the first thing we're going to cover is this abomination coming out of Denmark.
Look, man, there's a lot of things that can be called art. That's not one of them. That's just someone's fetish.
That's just, yeah, it's just a fetish. It's just a fetish.
And you know what's funniest?
This
is basically similar to all the transgender and athletes and all that. It's funny how those are literally a cause against equality, because the men to females can win everything, but the females to males can't even compete because they just
I know. It's like Tim Pool was like, oh well, we need to create a transgender division. I'm like, nah, Tim, we got to create a special division for the female to males and another division for the male to females.
Males to females.
Because these 4 groups cannot compete against each other because they are just so fucking lopsided.
Yep.
Nope, fuck it.
Don't remember.
Oh.
I got nothing of signs.
Yes, signs stuttering a little bit. I was gonna say that I don't remember who, but I saw some, I think it's like an MMA fighter on Twitter was saying that if FTMs really are men, then he has an open invitation to any combination of 10 FTMs to
10
come and fight him. Any 10 to come fight him. No training. He won't train up for it. No training camp, and he'll take no breaks in between them as he 1v1s each one of them in succession.
Didn't they accept that he beat them?
Well, see, that's the thing is, that's what most people forget, is we don't have men's divisions. We just have, like, a soccer league or a mixed martial arts organization. I think they're actually federations.
Yeah, all of the, all or nearly all of the soccer, sports, etc. divisions are all open to anyone, and then we have the women's division.
Yes, and then the only one in like that men do that is separated by something is UFC and MMA by weight and like set.
Yeah, but that's sort of the same thing though. It's like that's completely different than a male and female problem. That's I have you guys ever seen the Shadversity video that Shad did about force multipliers from size?
Yes.
where he was at like 5'9" and he was slapping something with a sword, and there was like, it was getting knocked around. But then he had the 6'2" dude come up and slap it one-handed with his sword. The thing fucking went flying. It's like, I'm sorry, but size is a hell of a factor.
Yeah, and that is actually something that I really heavily blame media on. And the casualness and casual popularity of most martial arts groups.
Yeah.
You see a lot of times, like, you'll see someone like Jet Li or Jackie Chan, and they'll do crazy kung fu stunts. And, it's incredibly unrealistic that even someone is, like say, Bruce Lee in the prime of their life, to take on someone who's, say, 6 foot, never mind someone who's 6'2". Because these guys, they're small guys. Yeah, they can do some really crazy stuff, but, Bubba or Gav comes rocking up 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And decides to smack you. You know, I don't care if you're Bruce Lee himself. Bruce Lee very famously admitted this.
Yes.
That as good as he was, someone who is just that much bigger than him,
Yeah.
he would not be able to win against.
Bruce Lee versus The Rock. I'm sorry, but The Rock's just gonna win.
Yes.
It's not even an issue of like training or like speed or reach. It's The Rock has to punch Bruce Lee once, and he's down.
And the thing is, The Rock is big enough that he can literally just tank one hit in a non-vital place, grab him, and then he's fucked.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's like, isn't he like 6'6", 300 pounds?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, though, is when you have that sort of size and that sort of muscle, you actually get padding out of the fat and muscle to the point where someone who's just not that weight class, them punching you is like, you laugh because you don't feel it.
Yeah, there's a reason that I'm pretty sure, it's been a while since I've watched Bruce Lee, the movies and stuff, but isn't every single person he faces literally just another Asian average height guy like him?
Yes.
Mostly. Some of the schlockier stuff he got into, it's pretty different, but
I was gonna say I just hate how Hollywood has like, because you said schlock and it just instantly triggered me with Hollywood, because Hollywood has really pushed it. Like at first it was like, oh yeah, these the Totally Spies, the not the Totally Spies, the Charlie's Angels, the original, the good one.
Yeah.
Even in that, where they're like, oh yeah, you know, they're super ninjas effectively, they're super spy ninjas. They still got their shit rocked by what's his face? The pretty guy.
I couldn't tell you.
So the original villain.
Oh, fuck. I know what you're talking about, but it's just kind of lost.
Yeah, it's gone. But like they still even back then they were like, yeah, so the girls are badasses. They're badasses. They're doing badass things. They're, you know, sometimes they're beating up guys because they got the drop on them and shit. And then they try and fight the big bad, and he just kicks the shit out of them.
Well, I think the issue is that the evolution of the big guy little guy fight has gone from big guy versus little guy is used to show that the hero can't actually beat everyone, and then comes back later for like the climactic battle, because you know they were cleverer than the big guy, and that's how they got the advantage. And it's gone from that to a big guy little guy fight is to show that they're much bigger, but the little person is so and that it literally doesn't matter that there's a size difference.
Except it does, and it's not going to help at all.
Yeah.
The only way for a smaller guy,
the
only way for a smaller guy to win, even so skilled, is to use his surroundings and the arena around him. That's it.
Yeah.
The narrative is David always beats Goliath.
Yeah. That's definitely Hollywood's fault, because I would say in the more common, I've seen it a lot more common past like maybe 2008, maybe.
Well, I think it also got really big. Like I want to say it got really big after 2015 for some reason.
Some reason.
It got really big after 2015, and I think it's because the big guy little guy fight somehow got tied to like anti-deterministic, like anti-biological deterministic. And so I think that's why it got so much bigger recently. But then also, like, everything in Hollywood is just terrible.
Yeah.
I will interject, and I will say three things.
Yeah.
One, when it comes to fighting styles, grappling is not as good as everyone seems to think it is. In real life, most grapplers, if they try that crap where they'll just lie on their back and let you come to them, they're just going to get their teeth kicked in. Most grapplers will, in a street fight, they're just going to get bitten in the face, and they're going to get a finger bitten off. to that end, boxing is the single best form of training if you actually want to win in a street fight. Not kickboxing, not Muay Thai, not
Oh
Kung
my
Fu.
god, fuck kickboxing.
Yeah,
Holy
no.
shit. Okay, I'm actually pissed about this. So recently, like a whole bunch, I say recently as in like the last 6 years because I'm a millennial. But recently, a whole bunch of kickboxing self-defense class buildings popped up in my area.
I think you told me this story.
Yeah, and they're aimed at children, and they're like, I went to one of them because my little brother goes to this, or used to go to these classes, and I went to one to pick him up one day, and I came a little early just to see what kind of shit he was having them do, and he was having them all do like high kicks and shit, and I'm just sitting there, and I said out loud, I'm like, man, I don't know what the hell you're teaching these kids. I could break your leg in 5 places if you do that to me.
Yep.
Kickboxing is good if you're like some dude in the Brazilian jungle spending 6 hours a day punching trees. Yeah, you're gonna brutalize your own body to the point that you're gonna have the issues of a 70-year-old by the time you're 30.
Yeah.
But you're gonna put yourself into a condition to do a whole hell of a lot of damage and to not react when you're hurt.
Yeah.
But the biggest, the single greatest lesson that you can ever learn when it comes to a street fight is doesn't matter how big you are, doesn't know what crazy kung fu you know, doesn't matter how good you are, doesn't matter how much weight you can lift. A knife
will
kill you on the spot.
Knife and gun, yeah.
Not even just a gun, because you'll find most people are a lot quicker to pull a knife than they are a gun, because a knife people tend to underestimate.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, but literally one stab can kill a man.
Yeah, a switchblade, a little 2-inch dinky little knife can kill you just as dead as a gun. Doesn't matter how strong you are. Doesn't matter how tough you are. And you don't even have to intend to kill someone with a knife. And so,
well, I mean, it's a weapon. You kind of don't have that option of non-lethally taking someone down.
Well, see, that's the thing with knives, though, is you look at a dinky little pen knife and you don't think, oh, this is a lethal weapon.
Well, that's more of a problem with people and cultural understanding.
Yeah, it's a psychological difference, because when people pull out a gun, most fights stop, unless there's like drugs or alcohol involved. Someone pulls a gun and it's whoa, you win, dude, you win.
I think one of the issues is that someone pulls a knife out. Most people don't think, I think most people think, like, if they're going to
get hit by that.
Fight, it's not just I can get hit by that. It's if he tries to hit me, I'm faster than him. I can knock it out of his hand.
You are not.
Like, it's another Hollywood problem where it's like, I took this self-defense class that showed me how to disarm someone with a knife.
Yeah.
So obviously, I'm in a better position to do this, and I could totally take it from him and then turn it around.
The problem with that is that those classes, the person you're testing it on has been trained in using knives, not just some random fuck that's just going to stab.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. How does the quote go? There's 2 things I fear: a grandmaster and a man who's never picked up a sword.
Yeah, something like that, because you don't know what he's going to fucking do with it. It's the thing I fear more than a grandmaster is a complete amateur who just picked up the sword.
Yes,
because I can
they have no idea what they're going to do with it. They will do something stupid. When it comes
actually entirely wrong. I mean, someone with training, I'm sorry, any day of the week.
Someone with training is more lethal, but the problem is that I know a fair number of people who get it in their head of like, oh, so they're gonna, attack me from this direction because that's where my weaknesses are with how I'm leaning and positioning my body, and then they do something completely not fucking that, and because you're preparing for them to do the logical choice of what a trained person would do.
To explain this time,
that's the wrong mindset. A trained person doesn't have that mindset.
Actually,
Yeah.
no, son. A lot of trained people do because they only go to the classes and lessons for self-defense,
They
and they
get
don't
in the-
actually
yeah.
fight by experience. They
They
don't.
get in the
Street
mindset
fighters.
of trained
There's
people.
a reason they say 100 out of 100 a street fighter will defeat a trained self-defense person because
Yeah.
the street fighter has the experience, knows how to fight.
Well, I think it's the midwit problem because
Yes.
I think
Yes.
if you have someone that's highly skilled and highly trained and has the experience, they're not going to make mistakes with an amateur.
Right.
But I think if you have someone, it's like how if you get like some rando that casually plays chess at best and put them up against someone that's not a grandmaster but they're decent.
Right.
There's almost a 50-50 chance that they're going to lose to the person who doesn't really play chess that much because they just don't
make moves
know.
that make no sense, and then it fucks up with the person who's decent. They're like, wait, what is this? Am I facing someone good? What the hell is
Wait,
this?
I thought they were doing the Joker's Gambit. They're actually doing the Queen's Reprisal? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's basically, essentially, I'm pretty sure that quote came about because there was a grandmaster who actually saw this fight, someone trained versus some amateur, and then the amateur won by throwing the sword at the guy and just punching him in the head.
Something like that. But I will actually speak from experience here of someone who ended up fighting someone way fucking bigger than them. He literally picked me up. Like, just lifted me off of the ground. And I'm not a small guy. He just lifted me off the ground and began to slam me bodily into the concrete cement blocks behind me.
That
reminds me of my story. Past story. I shared it on Science. Yeah, that reminds me of the past story I had. I shared on Science server where guy way bigger than me. I actually lifted up and then just looked at the guy who actually paid him a certain ethnicity.
Yes.
And was like, nah, not worth it. Fuck yous, and joined me in beating them up.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because I still won that fight, if only because I didn't react to the amount of damage he was doing to me, but also because I just kept slamming his temple with my fist, and
100%,
eventually he just went down from concussion.
As my final parting word before I have to dip, I will say this: you win 100% of fights you don't get into.
Oh, of course.
So if you ever have the option, don't get into one. But if you have to get into one, don't fight fair. Never try to hold back. Just do what you got to do. Doesn't matter if you're fighting a dog, a person, whatever. If you get attacked by someone, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is why you should stay strapped.
Yes, this is actually makes a lot of sense even to soldiers because there's actually an old veteran fought in the Australian Army who works at my place and a Turkish veteran who fought in the Turkish Civil Wars. Both of them told me when I asked, so what do you do if China invades Australia? They said war crimes are self-defense.
Yep. I mean, hey, look, they're not war crimes if you win.
I will say this, Stein. A gun is a wonderful equalizer, but it also escalates a situation.
It does escalate a situation, but unfortunately, with how laws are and with how public perception is, you actually would get away more with pulling a gun in a situation and then using it than having a gun and a knife and then pulling a knife and using it, because then there will be sections of people who will and can argue against you, saying you didn't feel that threatened because you didn't pull the gun.
Yes.
Well, also the other thing is that if you do pull a gun, this is not legal advice. I am not a lawyer, but if you do pull a gun, it's statistically better for you to kill the person you're shooting.
Yes,
because then you get the claim of fear for your life. Whereas if you
self-defense,
if you don't, then that claim of fear for your life will be thrown into doubt by every single member of the other person's legal defense. And then you'll get a trial.
Yeah, it's the worst shit ever. I tried shooting him non-lethally. I didn't want to kill him. It's like, well, then you shouldn't have pulled the gun.
See ya, Alval.
You see ya.
So I'll actually back that up with actual from a legal body advice here. From the sheriff who did my concealed carry training when I did it. He says, never say you tried to kill them. So you tried to eliminate the threat.
Right.
However,
Yes.
when you actually do this, you aim for lethal shots.
Mhm.
You keep pulling the trigger until it goes dry, and you take care of business. You get it done, because there's not just the whole legal battle of defending yourself. Then you've got to turn around and they can sue you for damages. They can sue you
Yes.
for hurting them.
Yep.
So you don't leave that behind.
Yeah, that's the other thing is also on top of that, if they had some sort of group that might take revenge on you if you only hurt him.
Yeah, whereas if he's gone, well, he fucked around and he found out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
and they're worried about finding out themselves.
Well, it's not so much they're worried about finding out themselves. It's more like this guy is not someone who's just going to take it.
Yeah.
So this is now a clear danger. They might roll up on you still because, one of them, but you are now a clear
risk if they try.
Yeah. You're not just someone who's going to cower and scream and cry. Now, but more on the subject of Denmark being Denmark, a museum in Aarhus, Denmark, has been renamed from the Women's Museum, so we're erasing women, by the way, with this one, to the Gender Museum, has created a statue of a man breastfeeding a baby as a symbol of the hybridization of the masculine and feminine in today's modern society. And they promote this as a positive. A hybridization of the masculine and feminine is a positive. There's so much wrong with this. First off, you have a penis.
Yes.
I'm sorry you didn't produce the baby. That's just how it goes.
I think that the big thing is because I'm super into like classical stuff, like Greco-Roman stuff, and there already is a symbol of the intersection. Yeah, hermaphroditus, who is a beautiful androgynous looking person that appears mostly female and has breasts and a penis.
This looks like that guy that for $1,000 bet got a breast implant surgery and became a table tennis champion with him.
Yeah,
that's a real life guy.
This is them just ignoring the symbol of the intersection of masculinity and femininity that has existed in the Western world and in the art world for millennia, and going, no, we're just going to make it. We're just going to make.
Despite people's thoughts, breasts are not feminine. Like everyone can get them, even fat guys have them. So it's not something.
Not only fat guys, it's like any dude that actually trains up, any dude that actually hits the gym, he gets a little bit of a man breast as well.
Yeah.
No, that is, pectorals are not the same. They are not even remotely close. It is not the same. Breasts are.
I'm aware it's not the same thing.
They look different.
Yes, they do, but it's still the whole look to the person. Yes. I understand what they're trying to say and what Orf's trying to say, and I'm saying that they're not making it because they're celebrating hermaphroditus. They're making it because they're going, look at the girl dick.
Oh, no. I wasn't saying it was a celebration of hermaphroditus. I'm saying that there has been a symbol in the art world that has
I'm not saying you were.
Yes.
I'm saying that there is a symbol and that you were talking about that, and I'm saying that I know what they're talking about, and it's not any of that. It's not a celebration of hermaphroditus. It's not a celebration of any of that shit. Because they're saying it's a celebration. They're saying it's a celebration of the hybrid and feminine, of the masculine and feminine, which it fucking isn't. It's just pushing more agenda bullshit.
I'll tell you what it actually is. It is literally an attempted destruction of classical art, the same way modern art is. It's a subversion. It's meant to make ugly art, and in this case, it's meant to make you look at this done in the classical style and associate this with classical art, and thereby cue revulsion upon seeing it.
Also, man breastfeeding. I'm sorry. I hate that shit. I hate the whole fucking the plastic cup that the father cup or whatever they fucking call it.
God, disgusting.
I think it's weird. I think it's extremely weird. I also think the mother should just be breastfeeding. I don't think they should be fucking doing the whole milk thing. I mean, it's kind of vital for the baby. We've known this for literally tens of thousands of years, but fuck, what do we know? Nature's wrong, apparently.
What's best for baby?
Well, also there's another thing, which is I don't remember what it's called. There is actually a medical condition where men develop female breast.
Oh yes,
autolactation or something where men can actually lactate.
They'll generate breast tissue, and yes.
And the only reason I know that is because one of my childhood friends was on a medication where that was there was a class action lawsuit where that was one of the side effects. They didn't develop it, but that's the only reason I know about that particular disease, because it's very rare.
Oh, incredibly rare, extremely rare.
Unless it's a side effect of the sorts of medications that fuck with your nervous system and your hormonal systems.
Yeah.
Estia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is like one of those things. It's technically it's a thing, but because I think that's the closest thing that this is. It's the closest thing this resembles is a man that just has a hormonal disease.
Yes.
But also, you're not allowed to say that these sorts of things are deficiencies or diseases or disabilities.
Defects.
Or defects. Defects don't exist anymore, don't you know? Everyone is a...
Oh man, I genuinely want to have an intense discussion with every single person that ever comes up and says, oh, well, you know, there is the XXY chromosome and the XXYY chromosome. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you know what those are called? They're called fucking defects. And you know why they're called fucking defects? It's because 99.9999% of humanity does not have them. Which means they are not vital to the reproduction cycle. Which means they are not part of it.
I mean, even simpler is just the exception is not the rule, and when you have to get down to that low of a statistical minority, then those I don't think you can even consider rounding errors exceptions.
No, you really can't.
If anything, with this one, it's so low you'd round down to 0.
Yeah.
The problem is they used this specific group to try and promote the trans agenda.
Yep.
And that's what they pushed on. Oh, don't you know there are people that are XXY and blah, blah, blah. But that's not what they're talking about. They were promoting cross-dressers and people who wanted to play pretend.
Yep. Who also, by the way, a significant portion of people who do drag have a fetish for it. So
not just they're sexual offenders, and there's a large overlap with the child-attracted crowd.
Yes, there is a very interesting correlation between all those statistics.
There's also a big overlap between the drag and the trans crowd and childhood victims of sexual abuse.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yep.
Yes, 100%. The thing is, there is also a difference between drag and actual just cross-dressers.
Yes.
Because, look, the cross-dressers are literally just wearing the clothes, and they look good enough.
Drag is literally parody.
Yes. And now it just doesn't seem to be anymore.
I mean, it's still parody. They're still fucking clowns.
Yeah, no, it's still parody, but also I think that the... I think that is a debate that is probably on the losing side with cross-dressers being separate, because the trans people have gone to such great lengths to basically force everyone to
in their greed, they dug too deeply and spread too far.
Well, in their greed, they've tried to overtake the trap community as part of their own.
Yeah.
And
sneaky, these aren't the minds of Moria.
Well, definitely the minds of something, because the shit they're about to unleash on themselves, I mean, they're fucking taking themselves out with this shit.
Yeah.
What is it? 70% statistic.
Something around there, yeah.
Something like
But I
that.
mean, it's not only that. It's quite literally they are literally taking themselves out with this shit because the medicines they use sterilizes, you know,
Yes.
Yeah.
and it
Yep.
also causes massive amounts of cancer. Because it turns out that if you're a guy and you take a shitload of estrogen, your body doesn't know what to do with the estrogen and
Mhm.
just starts mutating into cancer.
Yep. Isn't that the reason they had to fucking cancel those Impossible Whoppers or whatever, or like remake them because there's so much estrogen in it? People were like getting fucking
Because
cockfucked.
xenoestrogen from soy, yeah.
Yeah, it was causing issues with some people's bodies. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, another fun statistic, which is I think one of the reasons that they use sort of the male body as a baseline here and they just added breasts to it, is that I'll need to find where I saw it, but a study came out that post like 22 or 23, the people that remain trans are like 95% biological males, and the women, just if they don't get transition surgery, just
They slide back. Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
go right back. And if they do get transition surgery, they go and get detransitioned if they don't commit suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, and that's pretty
Yes.
simple. It's the same thing we've all experienced. There's
Being a
a
man.
story about this woman who went through this.
Oh yeah.
And
Yep.
as soon as she
Yep.
started presenting as a man, as soon as people started seeing her as a man, it just clicked just like that. And all of a
Yes.
sudden, she stopped getting attention from women, attention from men. She started being perceived as a
She didn't just stop getting attention. She got actively degraded
Yep.
Oh yeah.
because she still showed feminine traits.
Not just that,
Even
because
if
she
she
was
looked like a man.
short, she looked like a manlet.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, you mind
And
if
If I remember correctly, not just her, but she got her cameraman or assistant producer or something to assist her in suicide.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
shit.
oof.
Yeah.
Here, y'all mind
Not
if I hop
surprised.
into this conversation?
Yeah. Go for it, man.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Yeah. So actually, I was having a conversation with. He's in our service. Guy's name is Crusadia.
Yep.
He's very familiar with like non-binary and trans people. Like he hangs out with a lot of them, and we talk about this stuff. And what he basically told me is
Sure.
like 90% of the like female to male trans people that he knows super chill. They are what I've sort of. Whereas with like
Yeah,
the
that
female
lines up
adults,
with
Yes.
my experiences.
but,
Yeah.
Yes.
but what I think is it's not a biological thing. I think it's a cultural or social thing in the sense of
Yes.
Yeah.
they
Absolutely is.
for
The
guys it's like,
loudest,
we're
It's-
losing
the loudest
these
get
men.
all the attention, and they're also the worst.
Well,
all the
It's,
time.
No,
no, it's
so-
not. It's not just that. It's also I would say a large majority. As someone who grew up with a lot of tomboys and someone who ended up in college with a lot of female to males, a lot of the people I was meeting,
Shit, did my phone just
massive overlap. Yeah, we hear you. Massive overlap between these two groups. A lot of the people that have just grown up being tomboys were told they were trans instead.
Yeah, you know,
Yep.
it's like the meme where like
It's
the
literally
fucking
the
tomboy
global
has
homo
the
meme.
headpiece
Yes,
on, and it's
yes,
like,
it's the
no,
global
you're
homo
not
meme.
a tomboy. You're actually trans.
Yes, the trans community has done a massive effort to eliminate the idea of being
Well,
tomboy.
they've gone through, and because I think this also intersects with them trying to integrate the cross-dressers and traps, is the trans movement wants to remove any alternative to their community for
Yes.
an intersection of feminine and masculine.
Yes.
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 It's the same group that loudly proclaims that gender is a spectrum, refuses to allow anything on the spectrum that is not.
Did you see that short of Piers Morgan asking a leftist trans person to explain all the genders, and literally they couldn't explain a single one
Yes.
that he asked them about?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. See, that's the thing though. Is I got into arguments about this before in YouTube comments because sometimes someone just says something so stupid I have to respond. And they always lose because they always stop replying first.
So
That
I
is the
actually
rules.
had a real life.
That is the
story
rules.
with this.
Yeah, go
Went
ahead.
to school with a girl who she was a tomboy through and through. Pretty cute,
Yep.
just as boyish as can be. Yeah. All right. So, our 20th graduation anniversary came up here recently.
Oh damn.
We made a Facebook group for it, and I get to looking at all the
She's
names
trans
in the
now.
group. Yeah.
Yep.
Get to looking at all the names in the group, and all of a sudden it's, wait, I don't recognize this one. Who the fuck is this? Coincidentally, we had a funeral here recently, and I was talking to one of the parents of one of the moms, and she's like, so did you hear about this girl? She became trans, and this is what she's going by now. And I'm like, wait, that's the name from the Facebook group. Oh no.
Yeah.
Complete ruination, loss of what was a beautiful girl.
Oh
at the
yeah.
time.
No, it's terrible.
This fucking whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's really sad, honestly. It is really sad because between feminism and this whole trans thing, women have just been absolutely societally brutalized.
Yeah.
Because they've just been told that, oh, you can not only have it all, but you have to be a woman while doing it. Because if you feel any urge to do any sports at all, you're not a woman, you're a man. And you need to go take a bunch of surgeries and therapies now, and you're going to be on medicine for the rest of your life, and you're going to have a floppy tube to fake a dick for the rest of your life. And yeah, you can get that chopped off again, but nothing will ever be the same. And no one will ever want you because by the time you realize all of this information, you've ruined your body so fucking thoroughly that the one purpose that you have in life, and I'm not speaking as an individual, I'm speaking as a species.
Like a biological.
Yes, biologically, women
the
are
one
the only
purpose
that
you
can
have
give
in
birth.
biology, you have ruined it. No one wants you anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
It's brutal.
trying to think about how tinfoil hat I can get without the stream being taken down.
While you think about that, I'll continue. And probably get the stream taken down. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
No, I'm a huge female women's ally, whatever you want to call it. I'm massively in their corner because I think some of the societal shit has absolutely fucked them because of their habits, I guess you could call them. Women like being around other people. They like conforming to other people's general consensus opinions and stuff like that. They like fitting in with the group. And the current opinions are absolutely literal poison to women.
Yeah. It's so stupid that this movement is literally making humanity backslide. I thought we got past the fact that women can't do sports or men can't like sewing or cooking unless it's on a barbecue or grill.
Oh,
or
exactly,
like that.
yeah.
We got over that shit, and now we're backsliding because of this movement.
Yeah, I was saying before a day ago that it's wild that this movement that's all about being a spectrum and it's about being varied and all of this choose what you want and that's your gender now thing has somehow categorized every single action you can take in life to be either male or female.
Well, so I think I'm gonna go for it, but the tinfoil hat is that abortion was for the blacks and trans movement is for the whites.
Yeah,
that's I think that's what it comes down to. Because there is an argument to be made that it started separate from that.
No,
it's being pushed so hard that
I'm gonna be honest. You might be onto something there because I don't really think in the news I've ever seen anything about a black transgender person.
Oh no, it's actually hitting that community very hard. It's just that they're also all killing them.
Well, the thing is that here's the difference between being white trans and black trans. White trans, you'll probably get people to, if not accept you, at least tolerate you. If you're gay in the black community, you'll probably get shot, let alone trans.
Yeah.
Fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say that as my mother's second and third husbands were both black, and so I got very familiar with a lot of stuff with black culture, especially down in the South. And there is absolutely the best you can hope for if you come out of the closet in any way is that your family is like, I hate gay people, but he's my cousin, so
Well, that's where
Right.
they kind of download.
And not, I hate gay people, time to kill my cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best you can hope for. The worst, the more normal scenario is you come out of the closet and then everyone in your family stops.
Talking to you, and then
yeah,
you commit suicide because you're
Not-
isolated.
Not even
Yeah.
talking to you, but literally throw you out, throw you on the street,
Yeah.
say, I don't know you,
Yeah.
I don't care for you.
So, well, and also on the fact of abortion, it was targeted at the black population, but it was also targeted at the lower IQ populations.
Margaret
Yes.
Singer.
Yeah.
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 No, I was going to say, so I think one of the bigger problems we've got here is that women have been shielded from the consequences of their own actions and their own decisions because we built up this big system specifically
To
to
protect
do
women.
that,
Yeah.
to protect women. And so they've been shielded from it. They haven't faced the consequences of their actions. And now suddenly they're facing consequences and turning and going, oh, please save us from the consequences of our own actions. We need to
Except then we can't.
Except we can't because they're no longer women. And
Well,
so
it's
they're
not.
no
No,
longer-
it's not only that. It's not that there's no longer women. It's just the systems we've built to protect them are now being wielded against them, and we can't
Yeah.
stop it because when we try to stop it, they also resist that.
Yep.
They want us to protect them without us dismantling the things that are using to wound them because they still want to use those things to wound other people.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And this is why I say we should move all sports into no more gender divisions. We put everybody together, male, female, trans, everybody in the same division, and let them duke it out until they get tired of it.
I dig it. No, I've said that for a long time. I always thought I got into a massive argument with my family over this one. I hate women's soccer. I think it's a fucking joke. I think it's like, I'm sorry, but the U.S. Olympic team got one
teenage
gold.
boys.
They won gold. They got dribbled on by a group of teenage boys.
Not even like professional team. Literally
Yeah.
just a teenage school.
It was a scrimmage team from the school.
It was a middle school team. It was a middle school team at that. It wasn't even high school.
Yeah, it was a middle school boys team that was scrimmage based.
And it was 5-0 or something like that.
And they got fucking dribbled.
Similarly, did you guys see the thing where it was like what was it? Like that all female or female to male trans team has been put together, and it's like impressive, very nice. Let's see the score.
Yeah. Well, it's just like also it's this is so I was shitting on I was shitting on women's soccer because of this, because this was around the time that the women's soccer Olympic team were like coming out and complaining that the men are getting more money than us, and it's like, yes,
because they make more money.
Well, not only that,
it's
but
because
the men.
It's because they sell tickets.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's what I meant.
The men get 10%, and then plus ticket sales. The women get 70%, and then plus ticket sales.
And they're still complaining.
And they're still complaining.
Well, I mean, the complaint is basically, the men's team that sells out stadiums every single week gets paid more than us, who the only time we can have a packed stadium
is the Olympics.
Is if we're at an event where the stadium is already packed and we just happen to be there playing.
Yeah.
Or if you go outside of soccer, lingerie football. They're scantily clad, that's it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Which is, also the same reason that the women's volleyball tends to get sold out.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, I'm sorry, it's not as interesting. You're not hitting each other as hard. The rules are so much softer.
The goals aren't as exciting because they barely ever happen.
Yeah, it's just like you're just playing a lesser version of the sport. I'm here for the dudes who are running like 60 miles an hour up and down the field for 3 hours as they fucking throw their bodies in front of missiles.
Yes, and as they literally smash into each other with blood and sometimes bone showing.
Yeah,
and then they walk it off and get back on the field.
Yeah, I mean, I actually watched the World Cup for the men's, Netherlands versus fucking shit. I'm already forgetting.
What, Brazil numero uno?
No, it was a wild one. It was like
Croatia?
I think so.
Bro, fucking
Wait, it
Croatia
was?
Japan game was so disappointing for me.
It was a fucking wild game. We went insane because it was like they were winning in the first half and like
Was
badly.
it
Austria?
Argentina?
Argentina.
Wait, Argentina.
Yes,
Argentina,
that's what it was.
because of Messi.
Yeah,
and all that,
Messi.
yes.
They were winning in the first half, and then they started losing, and then the fucking game ended. They went into deathmatch overtime, and it still fucking evened up again. And then they went to kicks, and the kicks evened up again, and it came down to the last two kickers. It was just like, holy shit. It was intense. When was the last time that happened in a women's game? Never.
Never.
Yeah.
It's even, like, I don't even really watch it all that much, but Australian Football League, AFL, like, you've seen videos maybe
Yeah.
of Americans reacting to it and going, where the fuck's all their armor? What? These guys are bleeding. Why are they still going? And shit like that. And it's like, yeah, there's a reason that the AFL women's team does not get shown to people outside of Australia, because it is nowhere near that. Nowhere near as good. A men's one, some games can get over 150 points each. Women's one, you're lucky to get 50.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the way that it is. It's just the way it is, and trying to, and I mean, you go to the MMA. Oh man, look in the MMA section. The guy that transitioned over because he was a loser in the males MMA section, he transitioned to female. He went to the females MMA section. He's knocking people out left and right. Ronda Rousey's like, I'm not gonna fucking fight the guy. No shit, he's a fucking dude. Fuck you. Anyone that says otherwise.
Yep.
Did
And
we?
then even didn't even the owner of the MMA go, yeah, no, or someone like, I can't remember who, I think it was a huge like fighter, went, yeah, no, you put Floyd Mayweather up against those fucking people and they're dead.
Oh yeah.
And this is basically the same thing. A man, one hit could kill one of those women, and you expect them to go into the ring and willingly fight that?
So I'm sorry, but humans have literally evolved to brutalize each other with fists for several thousand years before we figured out how to mine metal and then smelt it.
Yeah, and even then they got strong from wielding all those fucking metals until guns were made.
Yeah,
and then they just have to lift it, point, shoot.
Yeah.
Did we talk? I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast in any of the last 3 weeks. Did we talk about the trans lifter that got mad because an actual lifter declared that he was a woman for one competition?
No, not just a lifter, a coach. So a guy who retired.
Yeah, a coach. Yeah. He went in. I was like, all right, if this guy's gonna break the record anyways, I'm gonna show him, like, I'm gonna show him exactly what's up, because you're not actually significant in any capacity. You're just fighting against people that.
If I remember correctly, wasn't this lifter not even on hormones yet when he got into that competition? Yeah. Or did he only take like the very bare basics and then he never went through any transitioning fucking thing or anything, no surgery or anything?
Yeah, I think it was the basics.
Yeah, he the not trans lifter. Yes, he went in without having done literally anything because he was in Canada, I believe, and in Canada you can just say you're a woman. So that's how he did it. He was just like, I'm a woman, signed up for the competition.
And they just let him.
Yeah, they had
to. Then went back to being a man.
Yeah, and then went back to being a man. Yeah. So this intersectional bullshit. It's a devaluation of society. It's toxic to literally everyone that gets touched by it. And we're gonna move on to the next topic. So, Sign, you want to explain this one to us?
Oh no.
President Biden signs executive order enforcing social justice credit scores. I couldn't find anything about this, so you're the one that linked this.
I did a little bit of research. I couldn't actually find where exactly it said that. It's probably in the DIE shit tied into that, though.
Right.
It was supposed to be about killing crypto, but you know the way they do these things, they staple some other bullshit onto it. and it probably included some diversity, inclusion, and equity, blah, blah, blah bullshit that amounts to a social credit system.
Now, I did hear that while this might not be the case, the whole social credit score system, I did hear some rumblings in California that is basically going to be a slow drip of this.
Yeah, we're already doing it.
Well, sort of. So effectively, what I heard is that some local supermarkets were offering discounts on what they considered to be healthy, environmentally friendly foods.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And
gonna start it.
yeah,
And then the worst thing is,
yeah.
wasn't it shit like avocados and nuts and all that are
Yes.
worse for the environment? because of how
not
much
only
it takes to
that,
bring
it
them
was
there?
also like soy-based products and
Yep.
Wonder Meat and all that, like actual garbage products.
Mm.
That are not environmentally friendly at all. But since when has that ever stopped an environmentalist?
Well,
No.
they do make
If you wanna
avocados in
be-
California,
If
so
you want to be environmentally friendly, grab a compound bow or rifle and go hunt your own meat.
Well, it's also very
It's-
environmentally friendly to do that because the fucking deer population needs to be kept down. My God, they're
Yes.
exploding out of control. I actually had to explain to someone recently that the reason why we have to hunt deer is because they will kill themselves off with their repopulation.
Mhm.
And they were like, "What do you mean? They wouldn't do that." I'm like, "Yes, they will. All deer know how to do is fucking fight."
Yep.
This is why, gentlemen, you
Fuck
have to
fighting
kill
graze.
the does, not the bucks. Kill the does, not the bucks.
Because then the bucks will just fight themselves, kill each other, or get hunted down by other animals.
Bucks don't actually kill each other. It's
Not
like
always.
severely. It's like hugely rare for a buck to actually kill another buck.
Yeah,
They're fighting for
yeah,
pussy, and that's it.
Yes.
Yes, but they also sometimes knock the fucking horns
They'll
or
knock
whatever
the
that they
antlers
are.
off, yeah, but that's not
Antlers.
lethal.
And that's the problem is that's also a defense mechanism for the bucks. So then other
Yeah.
animals can
But they
easily
do,
hunt
but they
them.
do regrow.
They
do, but if-
within a year, and
Well, that's
in most
yeah.
places, wolves have been eliminated, so there's
Also true.
nothing that actually hurts
We
them.
are the
Bears?
sole predators of deers. Pretty no.
Yes.
Bears, but at the same time, not really.
No, not even.
Yeah, like black bears go for berries and shit. Brown bears, yeah, they're assholes, and yeah, they'll kill a deer if it's convenient. But they're more often going to be going for fish.
Or they scavenge.
Yeah, like they don't. Bears are an odd creature. For as large as they aren't actively as aggressive in their hunting as a wolf pack is.
Yes.
Oh, now if you're in their territory or they've got a young with them, then
Oh
guess
yeah,
what?
no fucking shit. But that's
Yeah,
completely different from the wolf pack
Yes.
hunting down more and more food.
Absolutely.
Yes, or the kangaroo doing war crimes against you for fun.
Well, that's just kangaroos in general. That's just most
Fucking
of Australia's
kangaroos.
wildlife, actually.
Yeah.
But like I had to actually explain to someone, like they didn't understand that animals would just stop. Wouldn't just stop fucking. Like they thought the animals would genuinely look around at their environment and go, "Oh, there's not a lot of food around anymore. I should stop having kids." They're not.
No.
They didn't get that the animal wouldn't do that.
No.
They're
And
morons.
So I was like, I was like desperately trying to explain to them, like, we have to kill them. It is literally for their benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've eliminated wolves and all other predators. The only thing close to a predator of deer is hogs, and that doesn't generally happen much.
Yeah.
No.
They're also very climate specific. So.
Yes. Coyotes, maybe, but that depends on where you are and how big the coyotes are.
Now they are trying to bring wolves back in certain areas, but like it's like, okay, well, wolves are back now, so now they're gonna attack people again, and
Then they're gonna get killed again, and then it's gonna all happen again. It's a cycle.
Well,
The best way to handle this cycle is get the humans to do it.
Yeah.
What they'll do with the wolf is the same thing they did with the cougars. We've got them around here where they reintroduced a bunch, and these things have a fucking 70-mile range that they like to, range through.
Right.
They radio tagged every last one of the fuckers. They come out and people started seeing them, and then they started calling the game warden asking, "Hey, what the hell's going on here?" Game warden's like, "No, we don't have any of those here. We don't have any of those here." Then they eventually came out and said, "Okay, look, folks, we don't have any of those here, but if we did, and you shot one of our radio tagged cougars, it's your ass. Don't fucking do it. They'll do the same things with wolves."
Oh, I know, but they're gonna get fucking annihilated anyway. Because guess what? Oh, what do you? It's not my. Nope. Didn't shoot it.
My fault, officer.
I don't even own a gun, officer.
Yeah, you lost it in a boating accident last week. That's a whole week before that cougar was shot.
I was nowhere
Hey,
near there.
Look at the paperwork. I don't have any registered guns. Why would I be the one to do it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, but it's not gonna fucking happen, people. If some hunter comes across a cougar coming at them, they're gonna fucking shoot the damn thing, and I'm gonna fucking shoot every environmentalist that goes like, "Oh, well, you can't kill animals." Well,
I hate those fuckers.
got some bad news for you. Animals don't share the same opinion of you.
Animals are delicious.
Yes.
Yeah. But while we're not gonna have credit scores, we're certainly gonna have lots of dumb people, and lots of propaganda from various store outlets getting government subsidies to give people massive cost breaks on the ever-inflating cost of food. So you're gonna be buying the bug protein just because it costs about a quarter of what the normal protein costs, and well, you can't afford anything else anymore.
So what I've heard is a backdoor credit score. They're already rolling this out or trying to roll it out in like Ireland, and you know how that is. They're about 2 years ahead
fuck
of us
Ireland.
on that.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is they're going, okay, we're rolling with this new digital currency. It's a CBDC, central bank digital currency, and it's programmable money, and it has a carbon credit score tied to it. So if you buy meat, this costs X carbon credit points or whatever, and it basically stops you from buying too much. And they say that's the goal.
I will convert to Islam if that's what it takes.
That would be the only way to get out of it is religious exemption, and you have to be probably that specific religion to get exempted from it.
Yep. Well, you know what? Islam's about to find another convert in the coming years then.
Alhamdulillah.
Hello.
Oh, holy shit! You're actually here.
Oh shit.
So the next up is going to be.
You sent that because you're gonna. Yeah. I thought
What
you
the
sent that
fuck
small because you're gonna post something
is
fucked
this
up.
insane shit here? President Biden and Vice President Harris believe every person has the right to breathe clean air, drink clean water, and live in a healthy community. Okay, so first off, you don't have the right to. You do have the right to breathe clean air, because if you go out into the middle of a forest and you take a breath, that's pretty clean air. You don't have the right to drink clean water, however. Clean water actually requires multiple steps of preventing, parasites, preventing contaminants, not even human contaminants, by the way. We're talking about, like, if you go out to a normal river in the middle of fuck all nowhere, there's going to be contaminants in that river that your body's not going to be used to, and will react poorly to.
And even boiling it won't fully help.
Yeah.
Heavy metals.
It will help, but not fully.
Yeah. Heavy metals. I mean, even light metals. The fucking bacterias, the parasites again. There might have been some bear that shit up in the up ahead, so again some fecal matter.
All right, that's all still considered clean water, even though it's not actually 100% clean and safe for human consumption. It's clean in that it hasn't been polluted by somebody dumping shit into it.
But that's not what they mean.
Yeah, that's not what they mean.
What they mean is drinkable.
What they mean is drinkable, yes.
And I'm sorry, but that you don't have a right to that, and you don't have a right to live in a healthy community, because part of the community is you, and you, motherfucker, I'm talking to objectively of the you, the metaphorical you. You're not healthy, because I'm sorry, you're overweight. You're an asshole to everyone. No one likes being around you. You make everyone else miserable. No one wants you to be in their community. You don't have a right to be in it.
Thank you for just describing me, Sneaky.
No
Love to be
problem.
here.
Sneaky targeted personal attacks there.
Yeah. You know, I'm just firing from the hip here. Maybe it'll hit something.
I think he's
You hit
more
all-
turning that gun on himself.
It turns
Yes,
out
you hit all
Taz
of
was just standing in front of the gun the whole time.
I
All 6
mean-
bullets.
I feel like a better way to describe it is you have just set off a self-destruct button because you've hit everyone in this chat, including
To
yourself.
be-
Oh, I'm
Yeah, he was-
aware. No, but see, that's the thing though, is I don't like believe
can't
I have a
believe
right to
Sneaky
someone's
had that trick
community.
shot. That was quite the trick shot, Sneaky. You hit everyone with 1 bullet.
Yeah, I know. It was quite
yourself.
a excellence. You know, I learned from the best. What can I say?
It's just that scene at the end of Wanted.
Oh, God,
yeah.
to say that.
But no, in a more serious note, I know I'm a little bit toxic, so I don't expect people to like being around me. So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care if people don't want me in a community. I'm not typically in them.
Yep. Same.
But there
except I'm also a
are.
massive fucking introvert, so I
Yeah.
don't really care about being part of any community either.
Yeah, that too. But you know, there's people out there, specifically the group of people that this announcement from the White House is targeted at, that are toxic and are angry that no one wants to be near them. And it's like, well,
what they're saying is that people shouldn't have a right to say certain people cannot be allowed within our community.
exactly. That's what they're really saying.
Which
You're
is
not-
dumb.
You're not allowed to gatekeep to keep your community the same way it was when you joined it. don't you know?
Exactly. Yep.
Which is fucking dumb.
During the first week in office, President Biden launched the most ambitious environmental justice agenda in the nation's history. He arrested every deer on the block.
Wait, what? Does it actually say that?
No, of course it doesn't fucking actually
Oh,
say
I
that.
don't know.
Why don't you have the screen up?
I mean, Biden might have
I
said
don't
that,
know.
but you know, no. This is an
also
actual White
linked.
House press briefing. This is
Yeah,
a link. This
it's
is
in
in the
White
chat.
House.
That's
Yeah.
You know who else? Yes. That person also did not want certain people in the community. Yes. If you gatekeep, you're basically a Nazi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Zam.
But you also, if you're
Doesn't that
on
go
the
both ways,
right,
though? The whole like gatekeeping thing, because I mean I've seen tons of communities. As someone that's been banned with ORF from a specific community,
Yeah.
oh,
See, when a leftist gatekeeps, it's a good thing because they're keeping out the bad people.
Yeah.
Yes.
also, if you're
when
on the
someone-
right,
And
if you're
when
on the
someone's
right,
passionate
Yeah.
about something gatekeeps, then they're doing the bad thing, despite the fact they know that the people who want to get in have no passion for what they want and just want to change it.
Exactly.
well,
Yeah.
it's not just that. If you're on the right, you're not allowed to gatekeep and go, oh, the people on the far right aren't with me because no,
Yes.
everyone that's on the right is all together. So conservatives aren't allowed to gatekeep, which is probably about 75% of the reason that so many people just go fuck it. If you're gonna say that anyways, may as well.
See that this is actually the legendary libertarian to genuine Nazi pipeline of the libertarian who doesn't want to fuck with people because he just wants to be left alone, and then no one leaves him alone for so long period of time of constantly bothering him, constantly calling him a Nazi. This libertarian then finally goes, all right, you know what, fuck this shit. Hey, you know what, most of their views align with mine anyway, where's my gun?
Yep.
When does the death squad start? Where do I sign up?
When do I get my own personal chamber and that I'm gonna put in the shed in my
Yeah,
backyard?
Exactly. It's just like, I'm sorry, but you are creating the people that want to kill you.
Which is intentional on their part
Oh,
because
absolutely.
they couldn't actually find. It's like the FBI creating terrorists constantly.
Oh
There's
yeah.
not supply to meet the demand, so they bully people or they convince people into doing this, and yeah, it's all bullshit.
For far too long, communities across this country have faced persistent environmental injustice through toxic pollution, underinvestment in infrastructure and critical services, and other disproportionate environmental harms due to a legacy of racial discrimination, including redlining. You're right, Biden. The white people of this country have been misaligned by the giant corporations and the democratic infrastructure of the cities.
And the real quick solution of destroying China.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you got to do.
That's what we need to do.
The real quick solution is actually just nuke the Three Gorges Dam and call it a day.
Yeah.
Mm,
We talked about this in the very first stream.
You literally don't need to do anything else. Taking out the Three Gorges Dam causes China to collapse.
Oh no, yeah, that's my counter-invasion plan. Literally just like a small group, and all it needs is one man with thermite making it to it.
Yeah.
If they ever invade, that is my counter-invasion plan.
That's a lot of thermite.
Wrong. You only need to do it in a few certain
What's up, Tojo?
Was the Three Gorges Dam the one that the fucking KMT like blew up to slow down Japanese? I can't remember, and like killed like a good portion of the population.
The Three Gorges Dam is the giant dam they have that is above this massive valley that they decided to build 5 cities in, and if the Three Gorges Dam ever collapsed, it would wipe out something like
estimated
400
million.
Yeah,
I thought it was 300 million.
It's literally
minimum.
that meme of like the city below the dam. It's like with the dam starting to crack and water pouring through.
Well, literally though, the dam is starting to crack and water is starting to pour through.
Yeah,
yes, yeah. Literally, China's about to deal with itself.
They actually took down the guy who was watching the Three Gorges Dam because he used to have that live stream up of the Three Gorges Dam. They took down his channel because people were starting to notice that there was a high amount of cracks and water leakage and leaning of the concrete in the dam. And so they were like, no, there is nothing wrong with the Three Gorges Dam. Anyone who puts up videos saying otherwise is an anti-Chinese propagandist.
You know what's funny though? China probably didn't even realize until those videos that was all happening. We probably would have already had the Three Gorges Dam break if that videos weren't up.
Yeah, I know, right? It is so close, yet so far.
Yeah.
Anyway, so enough about the rural communities getting absolutely destroyed by the U.S. government. Let's talk about the U.S. government saying they're going to stop destroying the non-rural communities of Democrat-run infrastructure.
What?
Interesting. Yeah, don't worry about it.
I mean, like, fucking Flint, Michigan is Michigan, which is
Flint, Michigan is Democrat-run.
Exactly, but it's not urban. It's rural.
No, you're right.
No.
But it is Democrat run.
Yeah, I agree.
It's Michigan, so it just has that issue. But no, I do like the insinuation here, and in this statement that underinvestment in certain areas of the country is an environmental problem.
Yeah, I agree.
And not an issue. No, in environmental they mean like people polluting and all that sort of stuff. It's clumped in there.
Yeah,
even though it's a case of either private investors don't think this is a good area to build something, or the government deciding that it's not worthwhile to do that. So I will at the very least commend Biden for acknowledging the sins of government.
Yeah, sins of government indeed, yeah. So with this action, the president is working to assure all people, regardless of race, background, income, ability, tribal affiliation, or if you got a shout out in this one, or zip code. I'm not sure why zip code's relevant.
Because of the original.
Yeah,
they're gonna put zip code on everyone's wrists so people can tell.
No, it's the original sin of redlining, which always comes up when it comes to quote unquote racial injustice, because it's the thing that they just always go to as this was done, and it's like, okay, who was it done by? It was done by the banks so we're gonna punish everyone besides the banks.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
banks are too big to fail, so we can't punish them.
Except the
Well,
banks aren't too big because they don't have any fucking money in them.
Well, it's also the fun thing of redlining was started by the banks, so we're gonna punish the majority population. The slave trade was started by a very particular group of the
Portuguese.
population.
Portuguese.
That's not the population I was talking about.
But they were in Portugal. They were Portuguese starting off.
Yes,
This is true. And
So
we're
that's
gonna
the safe
blame.
word.
And we're
That's
gonna
the safe word we
blame.
could use.
blaming the main on Portugal.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
But just like with that, we're gonna take something that was started by a very minuscule but rich portion of the population and blame
Portugal?
it on everyone that's not actually part of that group.
Exactly. Yes. So this
Could
means
you,
cleaner water, cleaner air, reduced risks of asthma, cancer, and other health burdens. You know what the biggest reduction of asthma, cancer, and other health burdens would be? If
Stop smoking.
well, yes, but actually exercising and not eating
Yes.
absolute garbage and high
Yes.
fructose corn syrup
Yes.
and massive corn subsidies ruining the entire economy.
Mhm.
True.
But sneaky, that's work.
Yeah,
But
It's actually the opposite. It's no work at all. All you have to do is stop offering subsidies for corn, and pretty much everything fixes itself.
But don't you know it's racist to expect populations to cook instead of eating fast food.
Oh, you're right. My bad. My bad. Yep.
Yep.
Cooking and
just
being
that, don't you
clean
know,
and
certain-
other such things is racist. My bad. I completely
Yeah,
forgot.
don't you know sneaky
My apologies,
slaves
yeah.
want cooked for their masters, so
Right.
we can't do that.
No, it's Sneaky. You saying expecting people to be clean is just okay. At one point in time, I went to Job Corps to get free trade training to help out with my family's business to pick up some stuff that we were lacking.
I remember that.
And while we were there, because if you didn't stay in the city that the Job Corps place was at, you could stay on campus in a dorm with like 3 other guys. And so while I was there, the person that was sort of in charge of the dorm area there had to stay at least like once or twice a week to remind people that if you have issues with one of the other guys, come to about their smell, come to me and I'll handle it. Just remember, not everyone is from a culture that emphasizes the need for personal hygiene. And it was one of the things that got on my nerves the most because it's like, how much cultural literacy is actually required for you to know people don't like it when you smell bad, especially when every single aspect of personal hygiene is offered for free by the place that you're living.
That doesn't matter. Cultural shit doesn't matter because it's what they want. They don't care about it, and they don't want to.
Exactly.
smell good.
Yep. Exactly.
Cultural doesn't matter.
I have met people before who wouldn't shower, who wouldn't do shit, and they didn't care that they smelled bad because it didn't smell bad to them.
Yeah, they're nose blind to it.
Yep. And some of them actually liked it. They did it because they were fucking perverts. Some of them.
Yeah, that was a fetish for some of them.
The smell fetish people are
fetish.
they are even worse than the foot fetish people.
They genuinely are.
There is an alarming amount of intersection between the two populations.
There is, yep.
Yep. And with the P community too.
Yep.
Yeah. My only smell fetish is at fucking petrol stations. The smell of fucking.
Kaz over here huffing gasoline.
Damn right. There's a reason that I like being around.
How fucking Australian of you!
There's a reason. No, come on.
Gasoline.
I don't huff
The
it. I
reason
just
your
like the
country
smell.
catches fire so often.
No, those are the trees. I thought Callie already knew that.
Yeah, and I feel like your fucking trees are covered in gasoline.
Yeah, that's actually what they do. They water their trees with gasoline.
So real.
California?
No, in Australia. They love the smell of gas so much.
I'm gonna be honest though. Every man I've met has actually I've always liked that smell as well. They just go, smell that. That's a beauty.
Yeah.
Not so much.
No.
But they don't. No, not too much. But like a faint one where you smell and then it disappears.
No.
Bro, you sound like a
Noodle
smell
hammer is Slavic.
Really?
That explains.
Oh,
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, he's out there. Although he will swear up and down that the Balkans start south of his border.
Of course, yes. I'm sure they do.
Of course. Ugh.
And I bet he wants to go reclaim some rightful Slovenian clay.
Not really. He's basically in need at this point.
That's fair.
He's you know the whole Chinese laying flat movement.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
down with that.
He's basically that.
I'm down with that too. Yeah, I'm
He's
down
just
with that.
he's just like it's like there's no point in really doing more than the bare minimum anymore.
There really isn't. I mean, like that's the saddest thing is like I am completely unmotivated to do literally anything because I'm just looking at our economy and I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna lose any money I gain within the next 5 years.
Bro, real shit. I'm trying to get out of the U.S. right now and just leave.
And that's if you don't. And that's if you don't spend anything. Like
Well,
going out or
see,
anything.
the
You go
problem,
out and you
Tojo.
fucking-
Yeah, you are right, Kaz. But the problem, Tojo, is that there's nowhere to escape to. The euro is based off of the U.S. dollar. The yuan is based off of the U.S. dollar. Every other country's currency is based off of the oil dollar. You know, like no one is doing
Yeah, I know, but I'm
gold
more or less
standard
just going to
anymore.
go to Japan and disappear.
Japan is gonna get fucking nuked again by someone. I don't know who
Yeah.
at this point. Might be us.
Yeah, no, the
Right now, the only place that might actually fucking work is that underdeveloped island with fucking tribal things that you're not allowed to go.
Yeah.
That's it. Them or maybe the Taliban.
the Japan is nice now, while the U.S. military is still
Stable.
imposing some sort of threat to surrounding powers. But you know, the
Once that
U.S.
stops.
Well, also the military is having recruitment issues, and people are doing that whole "we've been at war for too long and we want to be isolationist again" thing that Americans do.
Americans really love doing that. We want everyone to fuck off.
Yeah. And then someone pokes the bear.
It's
or
like,
in
all
this case,
right,
the bald
fine.
eagle.
You all get a nuke.
Yeah.
The thing
Someone
is, like,
pokes the bald eagle.
after World War One, that was a thing that we did. That's why we
Yeah.
didn't join the League of Nations. And then after World War Two, because FDR really was a real big student of Woodrow Wilson. Like he idolized Woodrow Wilson. And so one of the things he promised Wilson, because after World War One, Wilson was still president in his second term, but he suffered a stroke, so it's basically catatonic while he was in the office, much like Biden.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he promised the last time he saw Wilson before Wilson passed, he promised him during his election in 32, which he, not 32, 28, which he lost against Harding, that he would do his best to get the United States involved in the League of Nations or something similar. And, you know, he ended up basically creating the United Nations during World War II before he died. So that's another reason that I hate Wilson, because all of our problems can be traced back to Woodrow Wilson.
More or less, yeah. Let's see here. This means cleaner air and water, reduced risk of blah, 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 better green spaces, safe and affordable housing, and clean transportation. Well, we tried safe and affordable housing. It's called Section 8. Section 8's not doing too hot.
No.
Section 8 is just absolutely amazing. The thing is, whenever I was younger, my mother actually got Section 8 housing.
Yeah.
But this is the Texan version of Section 8 housing. They don't put you in slums. They give you a piece of land outside of the cities.
And tell you good luck.
Yeah, they charge you like $8 a month in rent.
Gosh.
So we were on a piece of land with like 3 or 4 acres that was overgrown by the time we got there, and that was just a thing. And then
Cheap rent, put in the work.
yeah, no, and then my parents fucked the whole situation up, and so that was a missed opportunity, which feels like probably the worst mistake they've ever made, because that was outside of the cities, but still close enough that you could drive to the cities without any issues. No neighbors for like 2 miles.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, as it's been shown again and again and again to me, as much as I like charity and the idea of helping people in need, it's been proven to me, unfortunately, that the people that I want to help are the exception to the rule, and that a majority of the time, if someone doesn't have the money for something, they probably don't deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
They probably don't have the money for a really good reason, and probably don't deserve to have it.
The ones fucked over by life are the ones who need the help, and they're never the ones that get the help.
Exactly. Yeah.
My personal philosophy on charity pretty much falls down to a very narrow and specific case, which is, I think that if there is going to be any charity offered by the government in any capacity, it should be restricted entirely to skills training. In order to prepare people give people the training to go into jobs that the government knows need to be done, like trade schools. And that any other charity should take the form of community charity, like churches and community organizations.
Yes,
that
is a big proponent for me. Is I really don't like the idea of social charity that isn't being privately run. The government deciding who gets money, I believe, is possibly the dumbest fucking thing someone's ever come up with.
You vote yourself to get more money.
Well, yeah, exactly, because you can vote yourself to get more money. But also at the same time, it doesn't, like, the one government representative for, like, the state of New Jersey doesn't know what the fuck is going on down in Bordentown.
Well, the other thing is, and I'm speaking as someone who's, the entire time I was living with my parents, my mother was on welfare constantly, to the extent that she understood the welfare system better than most social workers. Is that once you get on once you get on government welfare, the incentive to get off of it
is non-existent.
Non-existent, because if you reach just barely above the point where you don't get welfare, you can't live off of that. And so it's the same thing as you're on the edge between 2 tax brackets problem, is that there's no incentive to try and get off welfare, because you're not going to be able to live off of what you're making if you go just a little bit above. So you have to either stay on welfare, which means you specifically earn less money, or have some sort of opportunity that gets you so far above getting off of welfare that you don't have to rely on it anymore.
And a majority of people that are on welfare are probably not going to do the second.
Yeah, well,
and here the people in Australia that are on welfare or the dole, instead they just have more kids because they get fucking extra money for every kid they have from the government.
Oh, they do that here too. We call them welfare queens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my mother was definitely a welfare queen.
Except ours is self-regulating because they all shoot each other.
Ours don't.
But the other thing is that even if you encounter a situation where someone was on welfare for a long time and has an opportunity where they no longer are on it, all of a sudden you have someone that probably has no self-discipline or regulation with a lot of money
Yep.
And they end up losing everything and just going right back to welfare if they don't just die.
Yep.
Yep.
And so you just have this issue, which is, one of the reasons that the biggest part of the federal budget is on welfare programs, and that part of the federal budget just grows faster than any other section of the budget.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, fuck you boomers, fuck you boomers, fuck you boomers. I don't care that you put into this system for the longest time. I shouldn't have to fucking pay for it because I'm never gonna fucking get it, because the time it gets to me, no one's gonna be paying into this system anymore, and I'm not gonna benefit from it. Fuck
and
you.
all the money that you fucking boomers had, you fucking wasted, spent, and then go, why don't you have any money? Why aren't you fucking
Oh yeah,
working?
and then ruin the economy to make it to the point
Yeah.
where nothing's fucking affordable anymore.
Well, the other thing is, specifically in regards to Social Security. Social Security continues to exist, not because the money isn't really there. The money that was originally paid in is gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's money that's currently being paid in that goes to the Social Security payments. Social Security is there as a buffer for federal government politicians who have pet projects they want to do, but can't really find the legitimacy to be like, I'm gonna make this bill to take this amount of money. So security, more often than not, gets used as a buffer fund to fund those projects. And some of that buffer funds honestly just also goes into lining the pockets of everyone that's involved in the project.
Right, because God forbid the government ever actually does anything they say they're going to do. But let's continue with this absolute shit show of an announcement from the White House. President Biden will protect our planet by ensuring everyone dies. I'm sorry, that's not what it says. Ensuring everyone lives in a healthy environment. Throughout Earth Week, President Biden and other cabinet-level officials are holding events and announcing commitments to focusing on the President's Investing in America agenda and how that's creating good, paying, clean jobs for everyone. So again, this is another instance of if they're genuinely creating jobs for, I have no idea what would be considered a good paying, clean job, but say they're creating this hypothetical job, it's probably going to require a skill set because of the high payment. It's probably going to require a skill set that is not available to the classes they're pandering to, which means that they're likely either going to create a requirement with these job creations saying that you must fill these positions with the pandered classes, which is going to create, a lovely amount of problems, as you've seen every single time a woman gets put in charge of a company's cybersecurity. And lowering costs, meeting climate goals, those mysterious climate goals that mean absolutely jack shit and always change.
The goals that people get money for.
Yeah, exactly. Like all this fucking CO2 shit, like, we gotta capture the CO2. It's like, motherfuckers. The planet hasn't even noticed the increase in CO2.
No, the increase in CO2 is actually good for the planet because more CO2 means more plants, which is good for us.
Which would also be good for environmentalism. But if you notice as well, a lot of language has changed recently. It used to be about getting trees planted everywhere. Now it's about protecting the old trees. Because we did get a bunch of trees planted everywhere. In fact, we've had more trees in the world right now than we have in like the past several hundred years. But that's how many fucking trees we've planted recently. So, the goals of environmentalists are ever changing in their goalpost moving. Like the sign is over here. He's got a goalpost hooked up to an 18-wheeler. The fucking environmentalists are 10 steps ahead of him. It's got a rocket engine attached to it.
Yep.
The new executive order, which is called the Revitalizing Our Nation's Commitment to Killing Everyone, Environmental Justice for All, which in government speak means killing everyone.
You are the carbon they want to reduce.
Yep. You are the methane they want to eliminate. And it says that we need to deepen the administration's commitment to environmental justice without really describing what the fuck that is. Better protect overburdened communities from pollution and environmental harms, unless you're a white community in Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
Pollution and climate change. Agencies must notify nearby communities if a toxic substance is released from a federal facility.
Federal.
Mm-hmm.
So not like when those trains derailed.
Nope. Just only when the government blows something up. That's the only time we have to notify them.
I mean, assuming that there's not already a policy in place for that, which I would not be willing to give the benefit of the doubt on that, because Biden has also made executive orders before that are already things that are being done. Assuming that there's not already a policy in place for that,
Yes.
then it's better than not being notified when.
Yes, but my counterpoint to that is, even if there is policies and laws and requirements in place already saying it, that doesn't matter at all if they don't do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because policies for federal buildings are more often ignored. Although I don't think ignored is the right word. I think it's more a case of there's so much bureaucratic red tape that no one actually knows what's required and what's not.
Yeah.
Because
strengthen
everyone's
engagement with communities and mobilize federal agencies to confront legacies of injustice.
So what they're saying is we need to give the brown people a turn and help them.
I think what they're saying is that the FBI is going to be seeding terrorists into various communities. I think that's what they're saying.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Facilitate meaningful public participation and decision making. Yes. Okay. So yeah, it's terrorism. The executive order underscores the importance of tribal consultation with the true owners of America.
Oh no.
Yes, the tribal counseling is very, very important. Let me tell you.
Gotta ask them Navajos about how to take care of this here soil.
Yeah.
There's no soil in Arizona.
Yeah, I know.
So it's all sand. It's all sand.
Yeah.
No, I would be a lot more, shall we say, empathetic to the pandering towards tribal groups if it was taken in the form of just privatizing the land. But no, that's not allowed to happen because they need to be held hostage.
America never forgot.
They have some privatized land. It's called casinos, and they do really well from them.
I'm not. It's already 5:30. I'm not going to get into my rants about reservations. We will be here for a long time.
Yes, Orpheus Andrew Jackson over here has a lot to say about them tribals.
Yeah.
Promoting the latest sciences and datas and researches, including cumulative impacts. That's right. Not the most correct, not the most up to date, just the most recent. So, yep. Let's see what else we got here. Expand interagency coordination on how to kill people. Expand interagency coordination on how to launch environmental justice
within the White House Council on Environmental Quality.
I don't know what that means.
It is a meaningless set of positions that are literally only there on paper so that they can be paid more.
Honor and build the foundation of ongoing environmental justice work.
It's buzzword salad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know what the foundation of environmental justice work was. Can I be directed towards any sort of literature so I can read up on what this foundation?
Oh yeah, actually, we
was?
actually have it here. It's called the Environmental Justice Scorecard.
Oh, that.
Oh, I think I know what this one is. Mm-hmm.
Identified as disadvantaged. Interesting. Interesting.
Oh, let's see.
Interesting. Everyone's identifying as disadvantaged. That's a very interesting thing. Is that everyone is identifying as disadvantaged?
Of course.
I think the ones that are identifying a disadvantaged appear to be mostly beneath a certain line, and also
Yeah. Oh, interesting. 71%. Oh, interesting.
they also seem to be clustered around cities.
Well, I'm actually clicking literally everywhere. I'm clicking the middle of nowhere. Every single area is identifying as disadvantaged, which means they have a lot of money. They get lots of money now to use to help these disadvantaged areas. Of course, they're gonna have to prioritize.
I will say this in terms of west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
For the rural areas.
Yeah.
Most of the rural areas west of the Mississippi are technically legally reservations.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
So that is probably factoring into why a lot of the rural areas in the western half of the country are identifying like that, and then the ones south of the Mason-Dixon are
for other reasons.
Yeah.
So we also have the U.S. So the people who have put together this scorecard is the USDA, famous for their reliability and complete non-interference in the environment and marketplaces.
Oh, yeah.
Department of Energy, also known for its lack of interference in many aspects of local life. For some reason, the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah, Environmental Protection Agency.
Yeah, the EPA was here. Yeah, I'm sure they're completely unbiased. Oh,
Housing and Urban Development.
NASA came up with which land is disadvantaged, which is very interesting. Yeah, NASA is involved.
U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Yeah.
Wait, is that
engineers makes sense.
Also, the Tennessee Valley Authority for some reason.
I don't think that those are. I just to interject. I don't think that those are people that collaborated to make the map. I think those are buttons you can click to see their progress.
No. Select an agency below to view its baseline assessment and progress on amendment. Oh yeah, progress.
Yeah, so I think that's to see what their progress was on what this board of
NASA, 2 Justice 40 covered programs, $1
billion of funding for the Corps of Engineers.
4,728,000 in funding made available. NASA donated.
$7 billion to the USDA.
Oh.
14 to the EPA.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure this is gonna go amazingly.
Where'd all this money come from? Especially because all these billions, couldn't that solve the homeless issue?
Oh, the Department of Labor got $2 trillion. Look at them.
Debt is just a number.
Yeah, debt is just a number.
AmeriCorps, 630 million.
So I have decided that to close out the night, we're going to be going to the wiki.
Oh no.
The wiki.
Is this the wiki from last night?
This is the wiki.
What is this? Please. Please link this. The
So, yeah. Yeah. This is or if you missed this last night, we stumbled across a author of interesting dialectic that had a interesting amount of tastes in
Fuck,
certain
I missed this as well.
aspects of yes, you also were not here for that. Certain
I didn't either.
aspects of anatomy. They had a very interesting take on Harry Potter and how Harry Potter is really a non-binary trans femme.
I'm what? Wait, what?
And he's gonna piss on Voldemort with his girl dick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm not even making shit up. That's literally shit that was in quote in the summaries.
In the summary.
Yeah.
See, there's a reason I don't show up to your other show.
Oh yeah, is that.
There are reasons. Like the other reason is that I also have D&D on Tuesday and Friday nights. But even if I didn't, I would still find better things to do with my time.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes.
That's that cuts real deep, Orf. It cuts real deep.
If I laid in my bed and stared at the ceiling for 3 hours, that would probably be a better use of my time. I would, at the very least, have more brain cells by the end of those 3 hours.
While you are not wrong, it cuts real deep.
Just because you're correct doesn't mean you're right.
Yes.
Well, they say the truth cuts deepest.
Oh, is that what trans people go?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just gonna mumble that one.
Oh no.
Kaz heard some of it.
That's okay. We can watch the VOD.
Modern insanity.
Trust me, you.
There.
I'm gonna kill you.
Alright, see ya.
See you guys.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
sorry.
Are you sure you don't want to hear about the identities, Tojo? Oh, he's gone. Come on, you don't want to hear about the questioning gender?
Oh God.
I love how it's just 132 articles, which just seems like an arbitrarily high number.
Oh, absolutely. Here's the neurosis gender.
New choice.
What?
Yeah, new choice or neurosis. I'm calling it neurosis. Here's the neurosis gender. It's identified under the non-binary and transgender umbrellas. Some people consider neurosis to be inherently tied to gender dysphoria.
They're kind of neurotic.
And a desire to make a physical transition to a gender-neutral presentation, but as a result of the diversity of people who identify with neurosis, some of them say they don't have one or more of these traits or are less neurosis for it. A person of any cultural or ethnic background... Why is that relevant?
Because there's some identities that you can have only if you're indigenous or black or Asian, etc., etc., etc.
How the
indigenous or trans black?
How the fuck does that? Okay, you know what? Well, I guess we'll find out. A neurosis person may use any pronouns they like. Oh, may they?
The thing with culture ethnic is, like, the big example I think everyone will know about is how the trans community has absolutely bastardized the concept of two-spirit, and it is a whole thing where they like try and go, oh, but the Indians had trans stuff before the evil
the whole
colonizers.
two-spirit thing? Oh, yeah. Wasn't that, like, massively debunked?
Yep.
Yeah, it is 100%. It is a purposefully,
Misinterpreted.
yeah, it's a purposeful misinterpretation of what it actually is. It's not a man and woman soul and head inhabiting the same body or whatever that heck they try and say.
Which is what they've been doing. It's the playbook they've been using since day one, is to intentionally misinterpret anything that would advance the cause, and then when called on it, claim ignorance or claim you're wrong.
Oh, 100%.
Speaking of which, I will, while unrelated to this, we'll bring up the all those dead children supposedly up in Canada that they found next to the schools where they massacred the Indian populations.
Oh, that bullshit.
It turns out those were just graveyards. Normal
Oh,
graveyards.
Oh,
Yeah.
funk it.
Yeah. Turns out that when people died a bunch, they had a bunch of graveyards, and so they would bury people places because they died and they had to get rid of the body. And then turns out that when people stopped dying in such extreme amounts, you no longer needed a graveyard next to the school. So everyone kind of just forgot there was one.
Until the bodies got fucking dug up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the graves are unmarked because, Inuit didn't actually mark their graves, I'm guessing.
Something like that, yeah.
And thus the Canadians lose what little points on the base scale that they had.
Indeed. Percentage of the worldwide respondents of the last great gender consensus. The fact that certain identities might not be popular does not mean they are less valid. All identities are valid.
No, they're not.
Frequency of neurosis gender, 3.5%. I'm not really sure what that is in relation to anything. So if this is 3.5% of 0.006%, then I don't fucking know if it even matters as a number.
Oh, there's the etymology. It's Netroy, which is just French for non-binary, which automatically makes it worse because it's French.
Yes. Because French is difficult to anglize. Yes, it is. Because the French are terrible and they're difficult.
French maids.
For some reason, they decided to include... Well, hold on a minute. We all know the French maids you're talking about are not French maids.
Yeah, exactly.
So the quote they decided to include to prove to you how real this gender is. I'm okay with nobody knowing that I might not just be a neurosis, I might also be male. And I'm okay with not being sure about being a neurosis. Nathan, 21, male.
Oh.
This is supposed to prove to you that neurosis is a real gender.
I love that it's like non-binary, and then the people that run the non-binary wiki are just like, yeah, we'll just throw male in there.
Yeah, he's male.
And he's male.
Yep. And not sure if he's non-binary either.
I'm not sure if I am a neutral gender and also male, but I'm not sure about being neutral, but I'm definitely male. It's like, interesting,
This is what happens when you brainwash an entire generation with crap. You confuse them, and this is why they're going and getting their dicks cut off, their breasts cut off.
And words lose all meaning.
Yeah, words lose all meaning, and they're doing it to fit in because they've been told it's popular, because they've been told they'll be special if they do it, and it's insanity.
It's absolute insanity, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's also really depressing, honestly. Let's see here. Neurosis was created by a neurosis person named H.A. Burham, who described it in public posts in internet news groups in 1995. So some random shitter on the internet just came up with a new word, and we gotta totally believe them. Okay.
Yep, and then for another 18
nothing
years, it didn't
came
get heard
up.
about?
Yeah, nothing came up for the next 18 years about this until suddenly in 2013 it showed up. Mentioned neurosis as one of the many valid non-binary identities. In 2014, neurosis was made one of the 50 genders available on Facebook. Fitting.
Only 50? Those bigots?
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not recognizing my any gender.
Uh,
I don't know. Did this H.A. Burnham even exist? I googled it and it gives me boats.
Yeah.
Probably.
And looking at it with New Choice doesn't bring him up either.
Yeah, probably because it's effectively an online screen name of a pseudonym of someone who is shitposting.
well,
Yeah.
there's an in-text citation next to him on the history.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Let's see what the insect citation is. Insect citation. Nope, that's not a slip of the tongue. That's not a Freudian slip.
Mm.
Insect citation. What is neurosis? Am I neurosis? Only you can answer that. Where do I learn more? Okay. So...
If you have to be the one to answer that, and it's not physically obvious, then you're not that thing.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm not sure what the fuck this website is. You reached the Neurosis Outpost, the official Neurosis transgender home on the web. Neurosis pangendered, other gender, female to male to female, eunuch. Eunuch's not...
Eunuch?
Yeah, yes, eunuch is a gender now.
Well, I mean, technically...
Gender punks!
Gender punks.
Gender punks and... Huh?
Gender punk.
What is
Yeah.
this?
See, the problem with finding haha funny non-binary wiki is that it linked to the rabbit hole.
It literally linked to a .com bubble. Era, like, personal website. Like, back in the day when people just made completely random shit that was just off the wall fucking bonkers crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the days of when it would be actually impossible to find this website because search engines weren't really a thing yet.
Yeah. If this is a TG website, why does this why does this link page? Oh, woof. Why does this links page include eunuch stuff? One reason is that some male to neutrals desire penile nullification.
They want to cut their dicks off.
No, it's nullification.
I'm gonna use that in the future.
Penile nullification.
Imagine facing a succubus.
8th level penile nullification.
Imagine facing a succubus and you use that, and now all their fucking lust and seduction just doesn't work.
Inverticus totalis.
No, you know what?
Oh my god, it's faceless.
I'm like 60 or 70% sure penile nullification is probably a spell in one of the tabletops that Fiend plays.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. We should
Or
ask
that
him later.
Faceless finds.
Yeah. You
No,
know,
Faceless is a tabletop noob, and he only plays 5th edition.
yeah, he's
I was
only
talking about
ever
his
played 5th
VNs.
edition.
I was talking about him in the Bad Girls VNs and fucking.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I'm gonna copy and paste this into the quotes section and ping
Fiend.
ping Fiend. Yeah.
This shit has got to stop, though. Seriously.
We say gotta stop, and this is from 1995.
Yeah.
So
Don't stop. It's getting worse.
It's gotta stop.
It shouldn't have started.
Well, unfortunately, it has already started. It needs to stop.
I think the issue largely comes down to the fact that gender and sexuality is not, in fact, a personality trait,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
people that don't have anything about them
really-
that is interesting make
Yeah.
it one.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons I think that Hollywood goes so hard into the making being gay such a core proponent of characters, because the people that are writing for those shows, it is a core component of their personality.
Yeah.
And so they're just like, what do you mean characters that are simply gay, but are characters outside of that? That's not a thing.
What do you mean he needs character development? He's gay. That is his character. Can't you accept that, bigot?
Mm.
Man. So
Oh,
anyway,
I'm
this
hearing
is
the dings. I'm hearing the Discord notifications.
So yeah, that's the riveting, absolutely riveting sort of sources that this wiki uses to prove that their neurosis is real. Yeah.
About as valid as anything else they do these days.
Washington State allowed people to mark X on their official documents for gender, with laws stating that X means a gender that is not exclusively male or female. Don't get banned, don't get banned, don't get banned, don't get banned, don't get banned.
Against the wall.
Intersex, agender, amalgagender, androgynous, that's not a gender, bigender, demigender, female to male, gender fluid, gender queer, male to female, neurosis, non-binary, pangender, third sex, that's not a gender and also not a sex, transgender, transsexual, two-spirit, and unspecified. What?
I need you to run to the store and get me some gender fluid for the car. It's right beside the headlight fluid in the bunker.
I would like to point out your mantra of don't get bans falls a little flat when you are purposefully mispronouncing Neutroid to make fun of it.
Because it's French, we're allowed to make fun of it.
Oh, okay.
The French noise should be mocked. Thinking your mic is dead. What's going on there?
Yeah.
There's a bit of feedback from Stinky.
It sounds like our voices drowned in absolute alcohol. Just the pool of it.
It sounds like he's humping the mic.
Yeah.
And how about now?
Yep, that's
Hey,
right, we got it.
You're back.
Yeah.
Cool. Fucking thing. Anyway, the neutral gender symbol is a circle that represents no genders, a variation of the Venus and Mars symbol being a circle. The additional of a lavender triangle is for LGBT pride.
Bro, that triangle is just the fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Puzzle.
It really is.
Motherfucker.
It's almost like it's on the edge of just being a Deathly Hollow symbol ripoff.
It really is.
Yes,
It's
it
really
is.
on the edge.
Which is really, really amazing considering the hatred.
And the story you guys found about New Choice.
That too.
They hate JKR so much. It's great.
Mm.
They hate her so much that they're making her infinite money.
Yes.
Yes.
They are making JKR so famous, she'll be able to be a fate servant.
Because as it turns out,
God damn it.
you can, in fact, monetize outrage and monetize people trying to cancel you because everyone hates them so much.
They tried to destroy her, and she became more powerful than they did.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wait, it's also called a neuter symbol?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh.
Anyway,
the
so
movie
gentlemen,
hits.
it is 6 o'clock. Do you have anything else for us, or do you want to close out for today?
Yes. Time to do the thank you to the bots and different people in the chat. Let's go for Drapsnat, probably an FBI agent, made 2013 with a Pepe profile picture.
Possibly an
That's
FBI
good.
agent, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, and O1 Allah, who's been here since even before 6 a.m.
Outstanding.
I'm just gonna keep thanking the bots. This is fun.
No, absolutely. You gotta thank the bots. You know, that's what they do. They do
Alien
God's work.
Gathering. Yeah, let's go for the Alien Gathering. Let's do it.
Look, the bots give us views,
Yes.
and so we may be able to become partnered on Twitch through the use of a bot army.
No, we would have to get way more hours streaming.
Yeah.
Don't ruin the dream.
No.
All right.
Anyway, so that was this episode of Probably Incorrect, and we're probably not going to be banned by next week because nobody watches us.
Gonna get banned. Say that.
Man, we're really failing this speed run.
Worst speed run ever.
It would be far more effective if literally anyone advertised it, because it's impossible to organically grow on Twitch.
Yeah, but where do I advertise this? Twitter?
I mean, we could technically have our fucking Twitch accounts watching it, and see if anyone just.
That would
pops in
probably
wondering
be a
what the
bad
heck's
plan.
this.
That would probably
Yeah.
backfire.
Yeah.
That'd get you banned, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not watching
So-
it. I mean the streaming, viewing, or whatever. thing you can do
Anyway,
on Twitch.
until next time, ladies.